Hey there everybody, I'm Abby from Abby Kirsten Collections. Today I'm going to be using my Cricut Joy machine and Smart Vinyl to personalize my kids' back to school gear. Every year my kids get to pick out a new backpack and lunchbox, water bottles, notebooks, all that important stuff that we need to go back to school. And this year I thought it would be fun to personalize it with their monograms and some images and animals and things that they like specifically that are personal to them. I also love the fact that it makes their gear stand out from others because oftentimes I will see that other kids have similar items and they can get confused and someone might take home the wrong backpack or lunchbox or something like that. And this allows them to easily identify which item is theirs. So aside from having all of your kids' gear such as backpacks, lunchboxes, notebooks, water bottles, all of that good stuff, you will also need a Cricut Joy machine. You'll need Smart Vinyl. I am using Smart Permanent Vinyl and also Smart Iron-On Vinyl for all of these cloth-based projects like the lunchboxes and the backpacks. You'll need some weeding tools as well, and you will need an Easy Press if you're using the Smart Iron-On as well. I'm going to be using the Easy Press Mini because it's going to work a lot better for these awkward types of bases that we're working with here, the lunchboxes and the backpacks. They're not exactly super flat, so it's really great to use the Easy Press Mini when you're trying to work with more awkward objects like this. You'll also need some transfer tape in order to transfer any of the permanent vinyl. I'm going to be putting some things onto notebooks and water bottles, so I'll be using the permanent vinyl for that. If you're loving any of the designs that you see here, I am giving them away for free inside of my freebie vault on abbykirstencollections.com/freebie vault. You can grab the monogram letters, you can grab the frames that you're seeing here, the rainbow, the sunflower, the shark and turtle monogram frame, and the school of sharks you're seeing here. All of these are going to be up inside of my freebie vault if you would like to enjoy them for yourself, or of course you can just design or use your own. Alright, so once you've gathered your supplies and your gear, let's go ahead and get started with this back to school craft.
So the first thing you'll need to do is cut out your Iron-On Smart Vinyl or your permanent Smart Vinyl. I'm going to be starting with my Iron-On projects here. The wonderful thing about Smart Vinyl is you do not have to have a mat. When you load your Iron-On Smart Vinyl, make sure that the shiny side is down, otherwise you will be cutting on the liner and not the vinyl itself. Also, don't forget to mirror when you're using Iron-On. I'm cutting out all of my pieces for my various designs in all of the colors that I need to complete my project. Once my cut is complete on my Cricut Joy, I'll trim off the extra vinyl, set it aside, and then I'll proceed to weed all of my designs. This one here is the sunflower monogram. I also have some monograms for my son. Here is a school of shark monogram that's going to go on his lunchbox. I am going to be layering Iron-On Vinyl in a few of these examples here. The backpack and the lunchbox, I will be using Iron-On Vinyl and I will be layering it. I will be using my Easy Press Mini, but you can use the regular Easy Press as well for this project. When it's time to iron on, you'll want your Easy Press Mini to be set to the medium setting, and then you'll just need to go around in small sections and just hold it there for about 10 to 15 seconds at a time and then move on to the next section. You do want a cool peel, which means you want to let the iron-on material cool down before you remove the liner. So a good 35-45 seconds before you even try and touch it, up to a minute. So there's how my daughter's backpack turned out. Super cute. She knows exactly which backpack is hers and it has a super special personalized detail. I'm also doing one here for my son. And I'm repeating the same process. I'm starting with the largest design. This is a 3-layer design. So I'm starting with the largest piece first, which is the navy blue piece in my example here. I am using, again, the Easy Press Mini, and it is set to medium. I've layered this 3 times, and every time I layer it, the most important thing you need to know is that your iron-on is covered and none of it is exposed so that you're not going to burn any existing layers. So make sure you save your liners and you place double liners over if necessary to ensure that you're not going to put heat directly on the iron-on. For this lunchbox design, I actually sliced out the sharks and then created an offset and sliced the sharks out from the offset so that even though this is layered, each of the 2 colors is directly sitting on top of the lunchbox material and not on another layer of vinyl. And again, you follow the same process of making sure that your vinyl is completely covered, your iron-on vinyl is completely covered anytime you're adding an additional layer so that you're not putting direct heat on it. So this is how my son's lunchbox turned out, super cute. I also did one for my daughter, and I did a rainbow monogram for her, so there was a lot of layering that went into that. I started with the largest piece, which in my case was the pink largest rainbow piece. So that is what you always want to put down first when you're layering iron-on vinyl. You always start with the largest one. And since I'm using the mini, I'm just working in small sections across, and then I'm waiting till that vinyl has cooled down and lifting the liner up. I'm moving on to the next color here, and my liners were big enough that I didn't have to do too much additional layering, but you can see that anywhere that my rainbow wasn't covered, I made sure there was a liner placed on top, even if it's a double liner. That way you're not burning any of your existing vinyl underneath it. Here's how the lunchbox turned out. I used several colors for that, and it looks super colorful and cute with my daughter's initials, and she'll know exactly which lunchbox is hers. I also created some designs to put on their tumblers and water bottles that they like to take to school to drink from. And of course I'm using Smart permanent vinyl for this. The permanent vinyl can be a little tricky because of how thick the liner is, because it's the Smart material. So if you have any trouble getting it to transfer to the transfer tape, the best thing I have found to do is to crease it where you're having trouble to getting it to sit on the transfer tape. Give it a good bend and crease, and then roll it back. Bend, crease, and roll it back. Here's another trick for you when you're layering your designs for your permanent vinyl. Try using a piece of parchment paper between the layers and place one layer on top with a piece of parchment paper in between, and have some of the extra transfer tape hanging over the one side. Once you get it lined up, you can just slide that parchment paper out, and what this does is it allows you to tweak the layers before pressing down, so you don't have to try and lift or start all the way over. So it's a great way to get your layers to line up before you actually start pressing anything down. When you're burnishing your design, which is what I'm doing here by rubbing it with my Cricut scraper, just make sure you're burnishing the front as well as the back. It's also really important to always peel the liner away from the transfer tape and not the transfer tape away from the liner. Anywhere where that liner is being a little stubborn, I'm doing that bend and crease and then lifting it up until it sits on the transfer tape. When you're adding vinyl to a curved surface like a tumbler or a water bottle, in my case here, it can be really helpful to cut little slits along the edges, because this is going to allow you to get the design onto the curved surface, and it'll let the transfer tape be more malleable so you can get it on without having to pick the design up so much and try and get it resituated. Once you're happy with that, of course, peel your transfer tape off, make sure everything is wrinkle free. And there you go. This is one of my daughter's cups that she'll be using at school. I also did a water bottle for my son. He's really into sharks right now, so I did a shark that said "You're Jossum" on it. And I layered the white and the navy together, and this is how that turned out. One of the last things I personalized for my kids is they always have a million notebooks and folders that they need for school, and it gets very confusing knowing which one is which, so I decided to write the subjects or what they'll be doing in the notebooks and the folders on the front so that I can clearly keep track of what is inside of each and find it quicker, and my kids can also keep track of it easier. I'm again transferring this here and anywhere where the liner is being difficult because it is the Smart material. It's a lot thicker. I'm just bending and creasing until it grabs at the transfer tape and then rolling it back. Placing this onto just some spiral notebooks and folders, and that'll allow us to stay a lot more organized. You could even put your child's monograms or initials on it as well if you are worried about it getting, lost or mixed up with one of your other kids or other students.